Welcome to our spine-chilling journey through the 15 most haunted hospitals in Wales. These abandoned and active medical facilities are not only steeped in history, but also shrouded in ghostly legends. From eerie whispers in empty hallways to spectral apparitions of former patients and staff, each hospital holds a tale of terror waiting to be uncovered. Dare to join us as we explore the dark corridors and haunting stories that make these hospitals the most terrifying places in Wales. 1. Denbigh Asylum, North Wales Hospital. Once a place for healing the troubled minds, Denbigh Asylum is now a crumbling shell of despair. But its halls are far from silent. Urban explorers and ghost hunters have reported hearing the anguished cries of patients long gone, echoing through the decayed corridors. The most chilling tale comes from a visitor who claimed to hear whispers urging them to leave as they ventured deeper into the asylum. When they ignored the warnings, a loud guttural scream erupted, causing them to flee in terror. Some have even witnessed shadowy figures darting between rooms or standing ominously at the ends of hallways, watching silently. One infamous apparition is known as the Nurse, a ghostly figure clad in a tattered uniform, often seen near the remains of the hospital's treatment rooms. Legend says she is the spirit of a nurse who witnessed unspeakable horrors during her time at the asylum, and now lingers, unable to escape the torment. Denbigh Asylum's heavy, oppressive air and the chilling sensation of being watched make it a place no one dares to enter after dark. The spirits here, it seems, are not at rest, and they don't take kindly to visitors. 2. Talgarth Mental Hospital. Nestled in the rolling hills of Powys, Talgarth Mental Hospital hides a sinister past. The now abandoned site is a favorite among thrill seekers, but those brave enough to explore it rarely stay long. Locals whisper about strange lights glowing from the broken windows and disembodied voices calling out in the dead of night. One tale tells of a group of friends who entered the hospital and found an old wheelchair in the middle of a room. When they turned away, the wheelchair creaked and rolled toward them, seemingly pushed by an unseen force. Panicked, they ran, only to hear the sound of footsteps chasing them down the long, decayed corridors. The most terrifying entity is the screaming patient, whose cries can be heard echoing through the wards. Witnesses describe the sound as heart-wrenching, as though someone is enduring unimaginable pain. No one knows who the spirit is, but many believe it to be a patient who succumbed to cruel treatments and now relives their agony in the afterlife. 3. Brecon War Memorial Hospital. A site with a long and tragic history, Brecon War Memorial Hospital is said to be haunted by the souls of soldiers who never left its halls. Visitors report feeling sudden chills, hearing the sound of heavy boots walking the halls, and catching glimpses of shadowy figures in the corners of their vision. One of the most unsettling stories involves a nurse who was on night duty. She claimed to see a soldier in full uniform standing at the end of a corridor, staring at her. Thinking he was a lost visitor, she approached, but as she drew closer, the figure vanished into thin air. Terrified, she refused to work night shifts again. Others have heard the faint sounds of men moaning in pain, as though the hospital's wartime history continues to play out. The ghostly presence of a field surgeon has also been reported, his bloodied hands visible as he wanders the wards, searching for patients he will never save. 4. Lanfrechfa Grange Hospital. Once a bustling hospital, Lanfrechfa Grange now stands as a silent monument to its dark past. The most well-known legend is that of the Watcher, a tall shadow figure seen standing at the windows of the old buildings, gazing out over the grounds. One night, a security guard patrolling the area heard faint humming from one of the empty wings. As he followed the sound, he entered a room to find it completely empty, except for a set of child-sized handprints smeared on the dusty glass of a window. The humming stopped abruptly, leaving an eerie silence that chilled him to the bone. Another tale tells of a phantom nurse who roams the corridors, her footsteps echoing long after she disappears from sight. Staff who worked in the hospital before its closure often spoke of lights turning on and off by themselves, and doors slamming without explanation. Visitors today report feeling watched, as if unseen eyes follow them through the empty halls. 5. Cefn Coed Hospital, Swansea. Cefn Coed Hospital, once a psychiatric facility in Swansea, is notorious for its grim history and paranormal activity. Over the years, it has earned the reputation of being one of the most haunted locations in Wales. Patients at Cefn Coed often endured harsh treatments, and many believe the spirits of those who suffered linger within its crumbling walls. One infamous tale revolves around a former patient known as the Whispering Man. Visitors report hearing faint, unintelligible whispers when walking through the old wards, and some claim to see a shadowy figure standing silently in corners. Paranormal investigators have recorded chilling EVPs, including voices pleading for help or simply repeating the word pain. The hospital's morgue is particularly unsettling. Those who have ventured there describe a suffocating cold and a profound sense of dread. A local ghost hunter once claimed to see a stretcher move on its own, followed by the sound of a heavy door slamming shut. Cefn Coed Hospital remains a chilling reminder of the human suffering that took place within its walls. 6. Whitchurch Hospital, Cardiff. Whitchurch Hospital, once a prominent mental health facility in Cardiff, has long been associated with sinister tales. Although it ceased operations years ago, the eerie building remains a hotspot for ghost hunters. Those who venture inside report an overwhelming feeling of being watched, along with the faint sound of someone sobbing, echoing through the empty halls. One chilling encounter involves a former nurse who returned to visit the abandoned site. As she walked through the ward she used to work in, she suddenly felt a cold hand grip her arm. Turning around, she found no one there, but the bruises left behind proved otherwise. The most infamous spirit is believed to be the Screaming Woman, a ghostly figure often heard wailing in agony during the late hours of the night. Paranormal investigators have attempted to contact her, but each time their equipment malfunctions or they hear distorted cries through their audio devices. Whitchurch Hospital is a place where the line between the living and the dead feels razor thin. 7. Glanrhyd Hospital. Glanrhyd Hospital, a mental health facility steeped in history, carries an unsettling reputation. Shadows dart across the hallways, and visitors often hear disembodied whispers urging them to leave. Staff from years ago reported that doors would slam shut without warning, and objects would move inexplicably during the night shift. One of the most chilling tales is that of a patient who reportedly died under suspicious circumstances in the 1920s. Many believe her restless spirit still lingers. Witnesses claim to see a woman in a hospital gown standing in the gardens late at night, staring blankly into the distance before vanishing into thin air. An urban explorer once described feeling an intense pressure on their chest while walking through the hospital. They later found scratches across their arm that hadn't been there before. Glanrhyd Hospital is a place where the veil between our world and the spirit world feels disturbingly thin. 8. Ysbyty, Ystrad, Fawr. Ysbyty, Ystrad, Fawr is a modern hospital, but its connection to paranormal events has caused unease among staff and patients alike. Many believe the land it was built on holds a dark history, and the spirits of those buried there have not found peace. Nurses working the night shift have reported lights flickering without reason, and several have claimed to hear their names whispered by unseen forces. One patient recalled waking in the middle of the night to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of their bed, staring silently before disappearing into the darkness. The most unnerving tale involves the elevator system, which is known to malfunction mysteriously. Staff recount how elevators will open and close on their own, traveling to floors without being summoned. Some even claim to have seen the reflection of a ghostly child in the elevator mirrors, a figure that vanishes the moment they turn around. 9. Aberystwyth General Hospital. Despite its age and abandonment, Aberystwyth General Hospital remains infamous for its paranormal activity. The peeling walls and decaying corridors seem to hold echoes of the past, and many claim the building is alive with ghostly energy. One popular story involves a local photographer who visited the hospital to document its ruins. While taking photos, they heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps approaching from behind. Turning quickly, they saw nothing, only to later discover a shadowy figure in one of their photos, standing just a few feet away. Patients who stayed in the hospital before its closure often spoke of an unsettling figure known as the Doctor. This spectral figure, dressed in an old-fashioned medical coat, is said to appear near the operating rooms, his face pale and emotionless. Some believe he is the ghost of a surgeon who died tragically during the hospital's early years, forever bound to the place where he once worked. 10th. Llandough Hospital, Penarth. Llandough Hospital, though still operational, is surrounded by eerie tales that unsettle both staff and patients. Whispers of footsteps echo through the long corridors at night, even when no one is there. The hospital's older wings, now mostly unused, are said to be the epicenter of the paranormal activity. One nurse shared a story of seeing a woman in Victorian clothing wandering the halls. At first, she assumed it was someone in costume, but as she approached, the figure vanished before her eyes. Another worker claimed they heard the sound of a child crying late at night, only to find the children's ward completely empty. The most terrifying encounter involves the ghost of a man known as the Watcher. Patients recovering in certain rooms have described waking up to see a tall figure standing at the foot of their bed, staring intently. Some say he appears to be wearing a black coat, while others describe him as a shadowy outline. Either way, his presence leaves an overwhelming sense of dread, as if he's waiting for something or someone. 11. St. David's Hospital, Cardiff. St. David's Hospital in Cardiff, once a bustling healthcare facility, is now known for its eerie and unsettling atmosphere. Over the years, numerous staff members and visitors have shared stories of disturbing paranormal encounters within its walls. The hospital was originally established in the 19th century and was used as both a medical center and a psychiatric facility, which led to many tragic deaths and untold suffering. One of the most commonly reported spirits is the crying nurse, a ghostly figure seen roaming the old hallways. Witnesses describe hearing the soft, sorrowful sound of a woman crying, followed by the sight of a nurse in an outdated uniform walking through the abandoned areas, her face obscured by her bonnet. Other reports include disembodied voices of patients speaking in whispers and strange cold spots that seem to appear at random. Some have even heard the sound of a heart monitor flatlining in the distance, only to find the wards completely empty. Perhaps the most chilling tale comes from a former patient who swears they saw a ghostly doctor standing at the foot of their bed, watching them without speaking. Today, St. David's Hospital remains a place of eerie fascination, with many believing the spirits of former patients and staff still roam its haunting halls, unwilling to leave the place of their suffering. 12. Pontypool Hospital. Pontypool Hospital, now abandoned, is a site of numerous ghostly tales. Once a bustling center of care, its halls are now filled with an oppressive silence, broken only by the whispers of the past. One of the most unsettling stories involves a spectral child, often seen wandering the hallways, clutching a small stuffed bear. Witnesses describe hearing the faint sound of a child's laughter, which quickly turns into agonized screams. Paranormal investigators have reported strange cold spots and the sensation of being touched by invisible hands. One group claimed to capture an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, of a voice saying, "Help me," followed by the sound of distant footsteps. Former staff members have also recounted their experiences, including doors slamming shut without explanation and shadowy figures peering around corners. Pontypool Hospital's eerie energy ensures that anyone brave enough to enter never forgets their visit. 13. Bangor Isolation Hospital. Built to house and isolate patients with infectious diseases, Bangor Isolation Hospital holds a dark history of suffering and death. Many who died here were buried in unmarked graves nearby, leading to rumors of restless spirits. The hospital's most infamous ghost is the Coughing Man, believed to be a former tuberculosis patient. Visitors often hear loud, rasping coughs echoing through the empty halls, accompanied by a heavy, suffocating sensation. One chilling encounter involves a maintenance worker who ventured into the basement to inspect the old boiler system. While there, he heard faint whispers and saw what appeared to be a figure sitting on the floor. When he approached, the figure vanished, leaving behind only the sound of labored breathing. Locals warn that anyone who enters the hospital after dark risks encountering the Coughing Man and the anguished spirits who seem trapped within its walls, reliving their final, painful moments. 14. Ruthin Castle, formerly a military hospital. Although now a luxury hotel, Ruthin Castle once served as a military hospital during wartime, and its haunted reputation remains strong. Guests and staff alike have reported numerous paranormal encounters. The most famous tale involves the Grey Lady, believed to be the ghost of a nurse who cared for injured soldiers. She is often seen gliding silently through the hallways, her expression sorrowful, and her presence accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature. One guest staying in the castle claimed to wake up in the middle of the night to see a soldier in full uniform standing at the foot of their bed. When they reached out to turn on the light, the figure disappeared. In the lower levels of the castle, disembodied voices and the sound of distant moaning are often heard. Paranormal investigators have recorded strange anomalies, including ghostly figures on thermal cameras. Ruthin Castle is a place where history and the supernatural collide, leaving an indelible mark on all who visit. 15. Caerphilly Miners Hospital. Caerphilly Miners Hospital, once a hub of care for local coal miners, now stands abandoned, with its dark past haunting its empty corridors. Many miners who suffered horrific injuries were brought here, and some believe their spirits remain. One of the most frequently cited ghosts is the Miner, a shadowy figure wearing a hard hat, often seen wandering the lower levels, of the building. Former hospital workers have reported hearing the faint sound of shovels clinking and the distant hum of a coal cart, sounds that should not exist in an empty building. One nurse recounted her experience of working a late shift and seeing muddy boot prints appear on the floor in front of her, even though no one else was present. Perhaps the most terrifying story comes from a security guard who was patrolling the abandoned hospital. He described hearing a low, guttural voice whisper, "Get out," followed by the sound of heavy breathing. When he turned around, he saw a pair of glowing eyes staring at him from the darkness. He never returned to the hospital again. Thank you for joining us on this eerie exploration of the 15 most haunted hospitals in Wales. If you enjoyed this journey into the paranormal, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more ghostly adventures. Have you had any supernatural encounters at these or other haunted locations? Share your stories in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, the past never truly lets go of its secrets.